Today was the first day I was off crutches after a month, so of course the first thing I wanted to do was go to the cemetery and get updates on the stones I cleaned last fall. This is Coal Hill Cemetery in North Brookfield, and this is the only stone I did before it got too cold out to do any more last year. It's in the middle of nowhere, so I got to bring my little wolf pack with me. They were way more interested in being on squirrel patrol than helping me, though. I don't know much about baby Eva. I'm always drawn to the stones of little kids, and hers stood out because it's so tiny but beautiful. Once I dug it up, I could see that it was a scroll, and often they would use a lamb on the top of the stone to signify the innocence of a child who died. But hers had a broken off rosebud at the top instead, which means a life cut short. Eva was only 1 year old when she died, May 8th, 1859. I couldn't find how she died, and she lived between census years, so she's not even ever listed as being born. She was also never mentioned in any newspaper articles or even in her parents' obituaries either, so her headstone is the only evidence I could find that she even existed. I do know that her parents were Orlando and Rose Stevens. They moved to Madison, New York the year after she died, where her father was a lawyer and a carpenter with property values around $1,000, which was higher than any around him at the time. By 1870, his property value grew to over $10,000. In 1882, the family moved back to North Brookfield for the last 8 years of her father Orlando's life. Her parents both lived to be into their 70s, but were buried in the other cemetery in town instead of next to her. Her father Orlando suffered a heart attack, but survived, and then a few months later died in 1900 suddenly of apoplexy, which was the old term for a stroke. Eva had a brother, Melvin Stevens, who was born after her, who became an engineer and moved to Parma, New York. And her younger sister, Hattie Stevens, was a seamstress and, I quote, a spinster school teacher in North Brookfield. No shame in that, Hattie, so am I. At the end, I'll show an update for how it looks today, 6 months after I cleaned it. The D2 I use keeps working for a year later, so I'm excited to see this stone get brighter and brighter.